let's talk about Jim Jordan for a moment, and then we'll get to Nancy Mace.
Sure.
If we get to it.
So Jim Jordan, I would say at this point, is the front runner to be the next Speaker of the House because Donald Trump has endorsed him. And
and George Santos.
Oh, of course. Well, that's the winning one there,
well,
baby.
I'll tell you something. That is at least gives you a sense of who George Santos thinks is going to win.
Yeah.
Because he's desperate. I mean, he is in desperate straits. That guy is a guy who, is a con man and survivor. Like I say, we announced this at the top of the show that he has been indicted now on 23 charges.
Yeah, 10 more announced yesterday.
And he was stealing the credit card numbers of his donors and charging extra stuff for himself on
and
it.
Republicans are like, we like your hustle, dude, but you've just got to charm the donors and then do something for them in office, and then they'll pay you. You just got to play a longer game. You got to be smarter about it, buddy.
It leads me to believe that his entire run was really just about it was the producers, it was a Springtime for Hitler type of production where he's just like, I'm not going to win. And, people don't really investigate that much a losing campaign, and I'll get to keep the money, and I'll be, I'll get a little bit of fame as a former congressman. He won.
And you know who also had a producers-like campaign and ended up actually winning? Donald Trump, who was running for president to make more money and expand his brand recognition. So it makes sense that Santos and Trump have endorsed this scummy guy, Jim Jordan. And, the other frontrunner for the race is Steve Scalise, who is the majority leader in the House and would naturally, given the chain of leadership, would probably be the person in other circumstances that would take over. But Steve Scalise is undergoing treatment for blood cancer. I think it's difficult for him to be talking to people and working the same workload that he normally would. And it creates an uphill battle situation for him, unfortunately. I mean, that shouldn't be the case, but this is the Republican Party we're talking about. But we should say, because it's the Republicans, the fact that he used to introduce himself as David Duke without the baggage is actually not a liability. Right.
We should just say.
But they're trying to hopefully get, I guess, the people who are opposing Jim Jordan are trying to get this into the conversation, which is baggage and still is not talked about enough. NBC spoke to some of the former wrestlers on the Ohio State wrestling team that were either witnesses to the victimization of wrestlers or victims themselves. And Jim Jordan was an assistant coach at that time, and according to multiple accounts, helped cover up this systemic sexual abuse by the coach here. This is an ABC 6 Ohio report, kind of just laying out what some of these wrestlers are now saying to the press. No sound.
I was at a gathering of women the other night.
It's okay. Wrong clip. 1 second.
I should also say that we have in the past played testimony that I think was given at a hearing in Ohio.
Yeah, we played that yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, you did play it? I mean, and it's a couple of years old now. Mm-hmm. It's amazing testimony. And it's also amazing that Jim Jordan called crying. I think said, was that the clip that you played?
Yes. This guy
called crying. Yeah. Please don't do this. Please don't tell anybody. Amazing. Here, we got it. Let's play it.
This is the clip.
Here in Ohio, 4 former Ohio State wrestlers are speaking out. They say Jordan has no business becoming the next Speaker of the House.
Former Buckeyes say Jordan failed to protect them from a sexual predator when he was the team's assistant coach back in the 80s and 90s. The sexual predator that they are talking about is Dr. Richard Strauss. Right now, more than 230 men are suing the university, saying Strauss abused them over more than 2 decades. Well, addressing Jordan's potential speakership, former wrestler Mike Schick says, quote, "Do you really want a guy in that job who chose to not stand up for his guys? Is that the kind of character trait you want for a House Speaker?" In the past, Jordan has repeatedly said he knew nothing about the abuse. That claim has been met with anger by some former wrestlers. Earlier this year, the Supreme Court allowed the lawsuit against the university to continue. The university has since apologized to the victims, reaching more than $60 million in settlements with nearly 300 people.
Here in Ohio.
So, I mean, the fact that the Supreme Court has allowed that suit to continue, that means that Jim Jordan is going to continue to be in the news for this. Like, he's trying to put this behind him so he can become Speaker of the House. But with this lawsuit moving forward, I can't imagine that this story is going to go quietly into that good night, especially if he's the leader of the Republicans in the House.
What's also stunning is that maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think this has gotten any real national media attention.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it sort of boggles the mind that, and I don't know if people watch network news anymore, or I would imagine it's been on MSNBC, but I don't know that it's been on CNN. I mean, I don't know that we've ever played a clip of it from CNN, which is sort of mind-boggling. I mean, this is not some dry, I don't know, real estate transaction that, I mean, there's testimony, and these guys are willing to speak out of, Jim Jordan turning an eye potentially could have saved, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20, dozens of wrestlers from getting sexually assaulted by this doctor. It's amazing to me that it hasn't gotten more attention.
Yeah, and it would be one thing if he was just some congressman from Ohio, but he's running
for Speaker of the House.
And before that, he was the chair of the Oversight Committee. Yeah. like that should be getting more national attention, as you say. Luckily, it appears that local ABC Ohio reporter is pulling from an NBC News report on this, and there are a few more quotes here if you want me to read them. But
yeah, please do.
Dunyasha Yetz, another former OSU wrestler who has publicly and repeatedly accused Jordan of lying about not knowing what Strauss was doing to the athletes, said the congressman's, quote, hypocrisy is unbelievable. He doesn't deserve to be House Speaker, Yetz said. He still has to answer for what happened to us. Rocky Ratliff, a former OSU wrestler and alleged Strauss victim, who is also a lawyer representing some of the plaintiffs suing the school, said Jordan, quote, abandoned his former wrestlers in the Ohio State sexual abuse scandal and cover-up. There are more quotes in here, really, but it's they've already paid out $60 million in settlements to 296 victims, as they said, but now in June, the U.S. Supreme Court stymied OSU's attempt to dismiss the remaining lawsuits against the school. So more is coming. But Speaker of the House, baby. If David Duke without the baggage, like that quote just gets put to the side, they can enable somebody to be Speaker of the House who's covered up mass systemic sexual abuse.
I know it. It's amazing, isn't it? Like, those are their two choices. That's a deep bench, but just not in the way that you probably want if you're a political party.
Exactly.
I mean, it's sort of hard to, I think, put together those are your two top candidates for Speaker of the House. Let's check in with Nancy Mace on what this whole fight for the speakership has done to her. I can only imagine that she is worried about this 2024 election. She is worried that she is a member of the party that is, if they have the opportunity to pass a federal ban on abortion, they will. Mm-hmm. And her being a member of that party will, even if she votes against it, will help it happen by simply having a Republican have the speakership gavel. So she is out there really now. This is her sort of
playing the victim.
Yeah, Nancy. There's a is it Collins in Maine? She's got that quality going on, but now doing it as if she's being attacked from the right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm wearing the scarlet letter after the week that I just had last week, being a woman up here and being demonized for my vote and for my voice. I'm here to let the rest of the world know and the country know I'm on the side of the people. I'm not on the side of the establishment, and I'm going to do the right thing every single time, no matter the consequences, because I don't answer to anybody in D.C. I don't answer to anyone in Washington. I only answer to the people. Thank you.
Well, okay. Why does put it on your chest? I mean, this is not what the it's
like, how weird do you have to be like, this is what I should do?
Exactly.
I'm gonna wear a scarlet.
I gotta give credit to Steve Morris of The Recount, who tweeted, "I'm absolutely obsessed with the fact that Nancy Mace's whole thing is like, what if 2007 John McCain had a theater degree?" And I just thought that kind of sums up that intention-seeking like behavior that she's displaying, where she's trying to be the person that's sticking it to both parties and, oh, woe is me, I'm the victim, I'm the maverick, I'm the scarlet letter, I'm been branded with the scarlet letter for, voting to vacate, joining with like the most conservative extreme Republicans to just torpedo our party's public perception as, and our ability to govern.
I mean, I think it's a good strategy, though, for her, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's shameless and it's disingenuous. But I think it's a good strategy if she's going into this 2024 election and she's worried about, I don't know. I mean, she's worried. I think her district, right, Bradley, is probably one of the more purple ones in South Carolina.
Yeah, Bradley's checking now. But she did have a closer than expected re-election effort.
So the Cook PVI is close. It's +7 now, but I think it was a little bit bluer prior because Joe Cunningham was the representative there, who was a Democrat, like a pretty centrist, almost conservative Democrat, and then Mace beat him to take his spot. So I think it's gotten redder over time, but it's definitely, I think, in South Carolina, outside of like Jim Clyburn, the most like purple seat.
Interesting.
And this is the way I guess she locks that in, or she thinks she locks that in. It will be interesting to see how that impacts her.
The thing is we do have a little bit of breaking news on Steve Scalise, but
oh, we do? What is it?
The House Republicans, via their secret ballot, in a surprising move, have voted to nominate Steve Scalise. Now, that doesn't mean that when it gets to the House floor that he will be able to get a majority of the votes to make him Speaker, because this was done in a secret ballot, and it's going to be an issue for certain Republicans to go up against Trump's endorsed candidate in Jim Jordan. But like the passive aggressiveness of nominating Scalise in defiance of Trump, that's interesting to me.
Wasn't Jordan McCarthy's pick too early on, or no? Like, my understanding is some friction between Scalise and McCarthy.
Your mic's down. Bradley has
They've had like a 15-year basically like simmering feud.
Oh, really?
Like Scalise has always been McCarthy's deputy, but Scalise has always tried to like keep the peace among the majority, and he's always kind of waited for McCarthy's downfall.
Well, Scalise has always been waiting in the wings in leadership for a while. And I guess probably more establishment Republicans want to say, this is Steve's turn. In the leadership structure, that would make sense. But I don't know if when it gets to a floor debate, if this is going to hold.
Right. We don't know what the vote count was, right?
No, it's secret. It was a secret ballot, the closed door meeting.
I mean, there's really no way to know. I mean, the scenarios are endless. It is quite conceivable, it seems to me, that the plan is get to the floor, change your vote. they won't know who changed their vote, right? I mean, if it's a secret ballot, I don't know if was it a secret ballot or was it like raising their hands in the back room? We don't know, right?
We do not know yet. We do not know yet. But
we just know it's closed door. Like it's
we know it's closed door. So in other words, it could be that the caucus knows who voted.
No, it was secret ballot. It was secret ballot.
Okay,
Yeah. And some updates here I'm seeing now on NBC News that Matt Gaetz has endorsed Steve Scalise, which is interesting. Very interesting to me, given the fact that Jim Jordan is a founding member of the Freedom Caucus, and that is supposedly Matt Gaetz's kind of coalition.
Well, Matt Gaetz is not a member of the Freedom Caucus, and they were mad at him. And it's also possible that Matt Gaetz perceives that he's just going to go with the candidate that he thinks Kevin McCarthy doesn't like.
Well, that's true. But you know what's funny is like he's just picking the more establishment guy. I mean, Steve Scalise is more establishment-y, right? He's been doing this for longer, right? He's been in Congress for forever, if I'm not mistaken. But I guess so. But compared to Jim Jordan,
McCarthy's been in Congress.
Then Jordan. No, I understand that. I understand that. But maybe I'm wrong.
It's also conceivable what happens is people flip their votes to no, essentially, as opposed to yes when it gets on the floor. And Kevin McCarthy comes in and is the compromise candidate. I have no idea. It's going to be fascinating to watch.
But do we want to hear what Matt Gaetz said right after the vote?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's see this.
What's your reaction now that Scalise has the vote, Speaker-elect?
Right, man.
I'm excited for him. Can't wait to go vote for Steve Scalise.
Absolutely.
Long live Speaker Scalise.
Do you think he has the votes on the floor? He was divided vote in there.
I sure hope so. We'll see some democracy in action.
You think you'll clear this up with one vote on the floor?
So.
Is that who you voted for?
And just to correct
Was that
myself,
the endorsement?
Yeah, I guess so. Just to correct myself, Scalise and Jordan entered Congress at around the same time, so I was wrong about
Jordan.
that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Scalise and Jordan. Right.
Yeah, go on.
I wasn't. I don't know how much of an endorsement that was.
I also just wonder if that's like it's just as you guys are saying. I'm wondering if it's literally just like a knife in the back for McCarthy again. Like I don't understand. I don't know how.
Well, Gaetz's politics are that petty.
Right, and it's just so hard for me to know how sincere he is. Like, will he go on the floor and say, I support Steve Scalise?
When is the floor vote supposed to take place?
Should it, at the latest tomorrow.
Yeah,
tomorrow at some
it's not
point.
going to happen today, they say. So tomorrow is the watch day, and then we have to see what concessions are going to be made to make either one of those guys speaker. If they do away with the motion to vacate, what kind of committee assignments or whatever they're able to engender or promise. That's
because what
I think a lot of this is there's all this extra pressure for them to have a speaker because they all want to rush weapons to Israel. And that is like adding a certain amount of pressure to, I think, their timeline.
And the government shutdown. Apparently, both Scalise and Jordan say that they're likely going to have to do a continuing resolution. But Jordan says he wants cuts in the continuing resolution, which is not going to happen with the Democrats in the Senate and with the Democrat as president.
Also, importantly, what they were also trying to do prior to the vote for Scalise in the closed door meeting was Jordan's whip operation wanted to change the rules so with a secret ballot vote had to be all 217 members or to get to 217, whereas Scalise's whip operation wanted to keep that rule the same just to maintain it be a simple majority of votes gets to decide who's speaker. I mean, decide who the speaker, like who votes and who gets to be speaker from the secret ballot.
So in other words, we should be clear here. He has not gotten the.
It makes it seem that if they voted to table that measure, meaning that Scalise got a simple majority of votes, but that doesn't mean he got the requisite votes to get to speaker on the floor.
Let me just explain this to people. So there are 217 Republicans in the House. Is that it? Is there 217? and there are 213 Democrats. Wait, that doesn't make 235. There are
I'm double checking here, just the numbers.
221, maybe it is. Republicans 214.
It's right,
Democrats.
221, 212, because there's 2 vacancies.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right now.
And so 217 would be the magic number that you can afford to have 5 people defect from the Republican caucus. 217 is what Kevin McCarthy could not reach when he had that motion to vacate, or could not reach that number to keep him from vacating. Scalise could have won theoretically with like 150 votes to 67 or 70 or whatever it is. That doesn't mean he's going to get 217 on the floor. He's not going to want Democratic votes. It's unclear to me that the Democrats would give him the votes. So they don't really know. I mean, that's why I get Matt Gaetz may be, I can't tell if Matt Gaetz is just sort of like, yeah, let's vote. I'm excited for it. Scalise won. Yay. And it's not going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. It really is a crap show for them.